Well, hey there, everybody. It's Chris from the Rate the Record podcast. It's Friday, which means it's time to do another NMR. I'm not going to go weeks without doing another one. I have another one here for you, so thank you for joining me today. I got 4 brand new songs over the last little bit that have been released. I've checked out, I got opinions on them. I want to hear your opinions on them. That's how this whole thing works. We can get started, but first I have to do one thing. And that one thing I have to do is appear on this side of the screen so that this icon can pop up and I can remind you that if you like what you see and or hear today, you can like, subscribe, rate, share, comment, and follow. 6 quick, free, and easy things. One of those things, a bunch of things, are all the things I just listed you could do to show your support. It truly means the world to me, so thank you very much if you decide to do so. Anyways, on with the reviews. First up on the list today, we have a collaboration. We had a bunch of those last week, but we have another one this week. Halsey and Amy Lee of Evanescence have combined forces for a song called Hand That Feeds. It's going to be on the soundtrack for a movie called Ballerina dropping soon. So let's see what this one has to do to offer. It's a moody and dancey track with this one, dark electro type of dance beats with strong vocals on both ends, really. Halsey and Amy actually do a really good job of complementing each other's voices. Granted, I think Amy has more the power of the two when it comes to actually presenting the vocals, but I think the dynamic between the two works very, very well, so it's quite enjoyable through that. It's catchy enough, but not all that interesting in the end, unfortunately. Especially with the sudden end to the song, too. Like, it feels like it was building up to one more big chorus, but it just kind of suddenly cuts off. I was actually kind of in shock. Like, I wasn't even looking at the time and just realized the song was over when it felt like there was more to come from it. So that was a little disappointing, but again, catchy enough. And overall, I can say it's okay. I don't necessarily dislike it, but there's not really much here bringing me back for a repeat listen, so I don't know. But job well done enough for this one-time listen. Coming up next on the list, we have the group Clipping with a new song called Dominator. It is worth mentioning. I know that this group has been blowing up in the last year or two or so. I've been hearing their name everywhere. I've never actually heard a Clipping track before this one, so I went in kind of blind. I have a rough idea of what their style was, so yeah, this is my introduction, I guess. I'm really digging like the noisier industrial hip-hop style of track that we got going on here, and the flow on top of it's really fun too. It felt different too because there was barely any percussion at all, if any, so it was just a very minimal hip-hop presentation, but done very well. It felt like it was kind of growing a bit with some layers being added as the song progressed, but it lacked like a big finish. Not that it needed one, but it would have been more preferred to have something kind of like exciting happen at the end. But with that said, I still feel like it's pretty intense in its very minimal presentation. And actually on that, it kind of reminds me a lot of the song Acid King by Malibu Ken, which is of course the project between Tobacco and A$AP Rock. Both of these, like this song and that one, are just like really well crafted and delivered minimal hip hop tracks that just work when they feel like they shouldn't, but it's a lot of fun. And overall, I can say that it's not bad at all. Probably not the best place for me to start listening to this group. There's probably better introductory tracks, so I guess I have some homework to do. That, or you can leave some suggestions down in the comments, because I'd like to know what's a good place to start with this particular group. Going in slightly blind, what do we got? Next up on the list, speaking of groups I'm not all that familiar with, Attack Attack is back with a song called Dance featuring Will Ramos of Lorna Shore. I probably already butchered the name, so I've already pissed off a few people probably. But you know, this one started out promising enough, but then that chorus kicks in and it just feels so cheesy, corny, outdated. Like the intensity is just immediately dropped and kind of like sucks any interest I had just away from me out of this song. Granted, the chorus is catchy, I'll give it that. It's not really earwormy to me at the very least, so I'm thankful for that. But yeah, like the lower, far more like brutal and menacing verses to this like goofy electrocore style of choruses, I don't feel blend really well together. It just makes the track feel very directionless in the end. Overall, I might as well leave it there. I don't have much else to say about it. It's not good. Not for me at the very least. Maybe you feel differently about it, but I'm not there. And finally on the list today, we have Parkway Drive with a new song called Sacred. It feels pretty on par with their previous works. Now, granted, kind of like the other ones, I'm not super familiar with their back catalog. I've heard a number of Parkway Drive tracks, but not enough to say I'm intimately familiar with the band. But from what I heard, like this is kind of pretty much meeting the band where they've always been. The screams are on point, the guitars are really tight, nothing groundbreaking happening or even necessarily outside of their comfort box, as I was kind of already alluding to, but it's still pretty intense and it definitely works, so I don't want to take too much away from this song. Overall, it's not really that bad. It's fine, because when I first listened to this, I was like, I don't know, it's falling a little generic on me, but then I gave it like a second listen and everything like that. I'm like, okay, it's pretty decent. I can get why this is a good track. I'm personally not 100% on it, but it's certainly not bad. I mean, great production all across the track too, so I recommend that you check it out. And that's all I have for the new music review today, so thank you very much for joining me, hanging out, listening to these songs. If you did indeed listen to these songs, let me know down in the comments below your opinions on them. Do you agree or disagree with me? Do you love or hate these tracks? What new songs have you been listening to lately? I'm curious to know all of this and more. I say that all the time because I actually am, so go ahead and let me know down below all of those things, whatever you want to talk about. And of course, you can find other places to let me know these things over at ratetherecord.ca. That is ratetherecord.ca. Streaming links, social media links, the RTR album chart for the podcast, and of course the RTR Club, financial ways to support the show. So there's perks that you can get as well, so by all means go check that out at ratetherecord.ca. All right, now for the small news section that I usually do at the end of these NMRs, just to kind of keep you up to date on things. Well, first off, the podcast itself obviously has been rolling along quite a little bit now, and this past Monday we just took a look at episode 136, where 9 Inch Nails with Teeth was celebrating its 20th anniversary, so of course I had to give that one a proper review. I think as of this video, 9 Inch Nails is the band that has appeared the most on the podcast. It's the 5th 9 Inch Nails album to appear, so, you know, there's still more to go, and I will get to them eventually, but this is the one that was celebrating its most recent anniversary, so definitely gonna have to check that out. And this Monday, I kind of did a surprise announcement that this Monday will be the season finale of season 7, and I will be taking a look at King Crimson and their 1969 debut album, In the Court of the Crimson King. That was a kind of a loophole album to do, a technicality, because it's only 5 songs. You'd think it's an EP, but because of its length, it's considered a full-length album. So I went ahead and did it. It's going to be exciting to jump into that one, but yeah, season finale, I do explain a little bit at the end of that video, and I might even take that clip of me explaining why the season's ending so early and make it its own little separate video. We will see. But by all means, check that out when it drops. I was going to talk a little more about why the season was ending so early, but then I realized, yeah, I say pretty much everything I need to in that video on Monday. I'll clip it into its own thing, so you can check that out on the channel when it does. But other than that, that's all I have. So once again, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you have a great week. Until I see you again, go listen to even more awesome music. Take care, friends.